I'm currently working on a full car audio build, and in the last video I did all the custom woodwork for creating these shapes for the beauty panel that will block off the trunk. Now in this video we are going to explore some advanced custom upholstery techniques that will allow us to give all of this a finished look. I'm Mark, welcome to CarAudioFabrication, the show where together we learn how to master car audio and how to design, build, and install our dream car audio system. Really quick, before we get into the upholstery process, I do want to thank our monthly channel sponsor, Crutchfield. When I was picking out all of the different gear for this build, Crutchfield was my go-to source. That's because they've done the research to make it very easy to see which gear is compatible with the vehicle. On Crutchfield's site, you can use their vehicle selector tool to enter the year, make, and model of your vehicle, and this will allow you to see what head units, speakers, and other gear is best for your ride. Better yet, for qualifying purchases, you will get Crutchfield's master sheet for your vehicle, which shows step-by-step how to do many of the tasks required for your vehicle installation. Learn more about Crutchfield and take advantage of a special offer for CAF fans at the link here on screen or down in the video description. To get the upholstery process underway, I'm first starting with using my spray gun here in order to spray DAP Weldwood Lando Top and Trim adhesive. This adhesive is a contact adhesive, which means I need to spray it to both of the surfaces that I'm going to attach to each other and allow it to dry. When I spray this first surface, I'm spraying around the outside. That allows me to know once I move that wood piece away where I need to spray the rest of the adhesive here on this upholstery carpet. With contact adhesive, you want to make sure the glue is completely dry before joining the two different pieces together. So I check that with my hand, and then I can push the pieces together like this. With contact adhesive, you need to be careful because once you apply pressure between the two different pieces of material, it will be stuck permanently. So right now, I'm working the edges of the carpet down into this transition that's going to go around my vinyl piece, and then here you can see that I'm using the corner of that transition in order to cut away that excess material. I'll now flip the panel over because I need to spray some adhesive onto the back side of this panel so that I can then wrap the material around and tuck it in that rabbeted groove that we did during the woodworking phase. If you guys didn't catch that video, it's very, very important in order to get good upholstery results. You want to make sure that you do the proper woodworking, so I suggest going back and watching that. That rabbeted groove gives me a nice spot to use my pry tool in order to tuck the carpet in, and then again I'm going to cut into that corner using a knife to remove the excess. If you watched the previous videos, you'll recognize this piece here. This is the floorboard of the back of the trunk. This actually covers up the spare tire so we can still access it. And if you're wondering what that piece is in the middle there, that square piece with the rounded corners, that helps this piece to locate and stay still based where it's at in the trunk. Doing the upholstery for this piece is very similar to that first piece that I showed you guys. There is one small difference though. I added this hole here that allows you to put your finger into it so that you can lift up this panel in case you need to access the spare tire. And just because this hole is so small, I wouldn't be able to force the carpet enough through the hole to have it wrap around to the back side. So I'm adding this extra little bit of carpet here just to give a nice feel for somebody if they do have to put their finger through there. That way it's nice and soft on the inside. So here's that piece all fully wrapped, looking good, just like it came from the factory essentially. We're now done with the carpet stage of this project. Let's move on to doing the upholstery vinyl. For this project, I'm using this really nice gray vinyl that matches the interior of the vehicle. So much like the carpet, I'm going to start with laying the piece on the back side here. You can see that I've already cut it down to size to be more manageable. Once again, we are first covering the face side of that wooden piece, and we're doing that because we want to leave an outline on the vinyl down below. That way we know where to spray the adhesive on the vinyl itself. But something we really need to be careful of when we're spraying the wood in this case is we want to make sure that we really work that glue down into all those detail grooves and make sure that we really get it all the way around each of the sides and on that chamfer. That way we're going to have really good adhesion between the two materials. So I've got that done, and it's a little difficult to see here because of the light color of the back side of this vinyl, the backing being white, but I am applying all the glue on that surface. After again giving the glue plenty of time to dry, this is where it gets fun. We can stick those pieces together, flip it over, and we're going to start to work the vinyl first into the details. A very common mistake that I'll see people make when they're wrapping details like this is they'll just put that piece of vinyl flat on the top of the surface, and then they try to force the vinyl down into the groove. If you make this mistake, the vinyl will stick at first, but eventually it will lift. You definitely want to make sure that you take your time to work the vinyl into those grooves and then smooth it along the surface. Once you're confident that the vinyl has adhered into those details, you can then use something like a wooden roller to apply even pressure and lock the top surface into place before we start locking in the sides. So now we can flip over once again and apply more adhesive on the back side, and it's very, very critical. With vinyl, we really want to pay attention to the corners of each of these pieces, the outside corners and inside corners, and make sure that we apply plenty of adhesive. Much like before, we can then tuck the vinyl into that rabbeted groove that I created in the woodworking step. And in areas that are tight corners, we want to make sure that we give ourselves some relief cuts in order to pull that vinyl into the corner and carefully tuck it. I then use that groove to precisely trim away the material. I repeated that process with the black vinyl material on the inside piece that you see here that is attached from the back side of the panel using some screws, and I can now press fit this part into place. What I was pointing out there is that this gray piece hides the mounting hardware that mounts this full assembly to the box, and I added this little pull tab at the bottom, allowing me to remove it if need be. Check it out, guys. We've got the final upholstery done. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you guys. I mean, this is my own work, so I'm a little biased, but I think this looks so good. Really nice and classy. I think all the colors match really well with the vehicle. The design looks good. I love that I added these lines here. What do you guys think about the lines and the overall layout? I adjusted the camera settings a little bit more so you can see even more of the flowing lines on the carpet. You can definitely see it more by eye, but it's just a little bit different on the camera. But you can see how I added this. I really think a shadow is going to be real nice on here once in the trunk. We've got all this layout here, and you guys can see that I added this pull tab here, so everything is fully serviceable. As you can see on screen, I can pop that whole panel out and access the bolt locations. Let's get it mounted in the vehicle. This is easy enough. We just put it in place, and since we've already added some threaded inserts earlier in our different pieces of wood, we can use machine screws in these holes and tighten this into place. I'll push this back into place, and since we were really careful during the woodworking process to make sure that our gaps were precise to allow for a nice tight fitment of the upholstery materials, this holds in place extremely well. Another cool detail I noticed here is because that mesh is such a fine metal mesh, you can just barely see the amplifiers kind of ghosted through that window there. I really like the way that looks, and it looks even cooler when the amplifiers are lit up at night and the rest of the trunk is dark. So in the next video, I am excited. We're going to do the grand reveal and show my buddy his brand new system. We will walk through the full install so I can show you guys how everything came together and how it sounds. Remember, next time you are planning out a car audio install, definitely check out show sponsor Crutchfield and take advantage of that special offer for car audio fabrication fans at the link here on screen or down in the video description. A special thanks to them along with Bryson, Mike, Ali, Jared, Jerry, Marcos, William, and the rest of the Patreon membership team. A big thanks to all those guys for making this video possible, and thank you for watching.